Hey everybody, it's Mike. Welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to go ahead and revisit the Bismarck palms here because it's been a little while since I did an update, and they've grown quite a bit over the last few months, and they're actually doing pretty well here. So and also I get a lot of questions about these. Most commonly, how old are they? So I want to go over that as well. There's quite a bit of information I mentioned in the first video that I'm just going to briefly cover, especially with these two here. I got the seeds for these two from seedman.com back in November of 2017, and they germinated around the end of December of 2017 as well. So they're only 3 to 4 weeks is all it took for them to come up. I used the baggie method, no bottom heat for these, in a room that was about 75 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. A little on the cool side. They like it usually a little bit warmer. But I still got these two to pop up after 3 to 4 weeks. However, I let the roots grow out in the bag for way too long, so they became severely deformed when they came up, and I had a lot of trouble having to work with these. I took them from the bag and tried putting them into 1-gallon pots, and they really just weren't growing very well. The roots kept wanting to push against the side of the pot, and they kept tilting over, and so I had to keep trying to keep them upright constantly. So I eventually put them in these 5-gallon pots. And they've been in there ever since, and they've actually been doing pretty well. As you can tell, you can still see signs of some of the deformities still. There's some inconsistencies with these fronds. Look at that one, that little frond right there. I don't even know what that is. That one there is not as deeply divided as these two here. But they are growing, and they're doing okay. The color isn't that great. Some of this new growth is looking a little bit better. This one's actually showing a little more consistency of the fronds, but the fronds are a little bit smaller than they should be. A little more of a compact crown on that one. So as you can tell, there is definitely a difference. When you don't germinate them the right way. I go into a little more detail, I think, in the first video on that. So over here, I have the two younger ones. These are about 5 months younger. I started these in May of 2018. And I basically, I start them in the bagging method, same thing. The only difference is I use bottom heat. You put them on top of my hot water heater, and as soon as the root radical came out, I decided to put them in these Stewie tall pots. These are 12 inches tall by 4 inches wide, corner to corner there. I first saw those on the Palm Father channel and decided to give them a shot. I think quite a few people are using those now. I think there's a few different companies that make them, but I really like those. They're pretty tough. And so I went ahead and put the seeds. As soon as they started, I put them in those tall pots, and I put them outside because it was already warming up. We're getting pretty warm days and a lot of sun. And it took about 3 to 4 weeks for the first strap leaf to come up. So just know it's going to take a little while once they start rooting to see that first leaf come out of the top of the soil. So, and then eventually I went ahead and put these in 5-gallon pots as well. But yeah, so these here are a little over 3 years old, and these here are a little over 3.5 years old now. And I have lived, the two areas I've lived in since I started growing these, the area I started them in, it was dry, hot summers, and here it's hot, humid summers. So, and they like both conditions. As long as they have that heat in the summertime. They don't do well in areas where it doesn't get very hot during the summer. They will take down to zone 9B, with little to no protection during the winter, but it has to be certain types of zone 9B. I know some of the coastal ranges of the Pacific Northwest are zone 9B, especially Southern Oregon, extreme Northern California, but they just don't get really hot summers, and it's usually very wet and cold during a lot of the year. So probably wouldn't do very well there, but they will do well in desert climates. They'll do well in tropical climates, and even some borderline places you could probably get away with getting them to come back after getting out of the low 20s and stuff, but they will take probably down to about 20 degrees before they completely fry. So if you live someplace colder, you can protect these if you want to grow them in the ground. I live in a zone 8 right now, so if I do end up staying in this same zone and grow them in the ground, I will need to protect them. and that'll be actually kind of fun to do and to experiment with a little bit. So hopefully they'll survive long term until I can at least get some seed from these. They are dioecious, meaning that each tree is either male or female. So you need at least one male or one female tree to make viable seed. So just keep that in mind. So I'm banking that out of these 4, I have at least one male and at least one female. So I'll be planting all 4 of these eventually when I buy a house and get them in the ground. So anyway, that's about it. Just wanted to do a quick update on these. You know, and like I said, with these, I didn't really show these as much. They're a lot more uniform looking. You know, definitely more of a bluish silver. Really nice shape to the fronds. That one right there has a nice bright blue silver look to it. And just more uniformity to the way the fronds are coming out. They're coming out in more of a normal, organized fashion, whereas these are kind of just all over the place. You know, some of them are all popping out around the same time, and you know, these are more in an orderly fashion. So you can definitely see the difference when you don't obstruct the roots early on. And so if you want to grow these from seed, that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. Do not obstruct the roots, and you know, make sure they have plenty of room to grow, and make sure they have a lot of heat if you use the bagging method. So anyway, that's about it. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.